Hey guys, so part two of what I did the other day. So, with my mom, I have had to really resign myself to the fact that I'm never going to have that mother daughter relationship I want. And of course, I want it. I mean, doesn't everybody want it? Like, seems like a common sense thing people would want to have with their mother. But it's just, I lived there from 2011 until 2015. Well, yeah, 2015, and all except for a couple months. And when I was renting the house from her, like I paid rent every month. I didn't. When the fridge went, I didn't even ask her to replace it. I went out and bought a new fridge because I had the ability to do so, and I left that fridge in that house for her. And I repainted some rooms for her. I did some work on the house for her. When we left, it was clean. And then there was a situation just after that when we were getting ready to leave to move. It was Memorial Day. It was about a week or two before we moved out of the house. And my brother was being rude to me and my children and saying, "Oh, your kids are gonna be gang members. They're gonna get assaulted and all this different stuff. Like you're moving to the ghetto. You're gonna get have crimes done against you and all this different stuff." And my mom was sitting right there and she never told him to stop. And I just kept saying, "It's not true. It's not true." She's like, "Well, it's not the best area." I'm like, "You haven't even been to my house. You don't even know what it's going to be like." And like, it's whatever. Like, I'm not going to fight with you guys like about this. Like, when I move in, you're more than welcome to come. My mother didn't come to my house till my son left to go to boot camp. She came for about 5 minutes and left. That is the only time she stepped foot inside my house in the 3 years we lived there. One time for about 5-10 minutes. Um, and then after that, it just, after that whole thing, rewinding a little bit, like a month before that, my mom had been at an auction. Now, my ex-husband had my car repossessed. And he had my car repossessed because there was both of us on the loan. He didn't want to pay it. He didn't want to be responsible for it, even though I was paying the payments on the car for months without him. And he decided to have it repossessed. And so there was nothing I could do because he's on the loan too. And had he called me and said, "Hey, get this refinanced, I don't want to be on it," I could have done that. But I can't do that as they're repossessing my car. So I didn't have a car. And at the time I was dating my now husband. And so he was staying at my house and driving me up to go to work. And then I got laid off and I needed to look for a job. And my brother let me borrow a car he was going to Derby in. So it wasn't a great car. That car died on me, which is why we started looking for a house in the town that I wanted to, where the jobs are, really, was because renting wasn't going to be a good option. Like buying a house was smarter. And so we bought a house, and that's when all the trouble began. Well, my mom and her husband had been at an auction for this elderly woman who passed away. They got a really good deal on a car this woman barely drove. It wasn't a brand new car, but it barely had any mileage on it, so it would have been great. And I said, "I'm not working right now because I'm laid off, but as soon as I get a job, I will pay you back for this car." And she was like, "Okay, that's fine." And so then I didn't know if they got it or not. Like, they said they got it, but then I never saw it. And my mom said, "Well, it needs new tires and something else. We're going to get that done." And I said, "Okay, well, let me know how much it is, and I'll add it to what I owe you." Now, keep in mind, I always pay my rent in time. And when I wasn't working, I was selling everything I owned to make sure I paid her rent. So, like, it's not like I was not paying my rent on time or I was being irresponsible. I was being totally responsible and raising two kids on my own, and it was not easy. And I mean, I'm saying that, but it was only because I had like no job. Like, had I had a job, it would have been different. Um, so there was that. Well, needless to say, Memorial Day, my brother's giving me a hard time. I'm already stressed out because he won't stop. And all I wanted was for my mom to be happy for me to buy a house. Like, and so needless to say, my stepfather calls my mom over and says to her, "Hey, go give me that title." And I'm like, "Oh, maybe they're going to give me the title to the car now." No. I was going to have to pay them back. Keep this in mind. I was going to pay them back for this car. He handed the title to his son and said, "Yeah, it's all registered and ready to go." Now, keep in mind, when his mother passed away, he also gave them her truck. And they already had 2 cars of their own. They didn't need this car. And so, right in front of me, he gives his son this car without them having to pay for it. So, yeah, I was hurt because I didn't have a car. And I know he doesn't like me, but I wish she would have said, nah, this isn't happening. This is not what we agreed to. Because I would have paid them back for the car, no problem. I had a job already getting ready to start when we were moving to our house. I got a job just before then. And my husband was dropping me off at work every day and picking me up when he got off work. Like, it was working out already, but no, that's not how things wanted to go for her. They wanted to do a different way, and I was hurt. And so my husband, then my boyfriend at the time, said, hey, let's just go. Like, you don't need to be here right now, because he knew I was about ready to lose my temper. You better just start crying. And I didn't want to show him that he had hurt my feelings. And when I said something to her, she's like, well, he can do whatever he wants. It's his car. And that really hurt, because the whole thing was, don't tell me that I can pay you back for this car. Don't tell me you'll help me get it registered. Don't tell me all these things and then turn around and give it away right in front of me. Like, that's horrific. If it wouldn't have been for the fact that I was single mom in it, and that I was trying to work, and I was trying to get another car and all this other stuff, and then I watch her, like, give my brothers money all the time. She helps them financially all the time, and she's never had to help me financially. I've never asked that of her. And then you add on to that when we got married, I was going through all the cards after we had the wedding reception, and everybody had left, and we cleaned up, and we took all of our cards and everything, and we checked to make sure we had all of our cards and gifts and brought them home. And we didn't do a honeymoon. And we got home, and we're going through all the cards, and I'm like, did you see a card from my mom? And he's like, no. And so we go through all the cards again, thinking we must have missed one. So we're looking at all the envelopes, we're looking at all the cards, and I was really upset because I really wanted a card from my mom. I didn't care what she got for a gift. Like, she gave me a gift at my shower, which was great. Like, that was, like, the first gift I got from her. And, like, ever, since I was, like, a little kid. And I was, like, looking, I'm like, all I wanted was the card. Like, I didn't even care about presents. We had people who gave us cards and no presents. Like, people knew we didn't care about getting a gift. Like, that was not the primary thing. We just wanted to have a wedding and share it with our family, and that was it. Like, our family and close friends. Well, I messaged her, and I was like, hey, did you leave a card? Because we don't have it. And she's like, yeah, I brought a card. She's like, well, I don't know what happened to it. And I was like, okay, well, we've gone through the cards a few times, and it's not here. And I'm like, can you just double check and make sure it made it in? And I said to her, because I really wanted to have the card, because we're going to be doing a thing with all of our wedding cards. What we did was we book bound all of our wedding cards. And she had said, no, I don't have it. And so then I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, well, I'll stop payment on the check that we put in there, and I'll give you the check. I'm like, no, I just really want the card. So if you just want to get a replacement card, that's fine. Like, I made it clear at that time, all I wanted was the card. I wanted a card for my mom, because none of my father's family came to my wedding, because they can't get over themselves after 40 years. Well, it wasn't 40 years at that point, but you know what I'm saying. And so all I had for family there was my mom and my uncle. And I wanted a card for my mom, and I didn't get one. And the other day it got brought up again because, she does stuff for all my brothers financially. She's paid for their weddings. She's helped them out financially. She's given them cash left and right. She's given them all kinds of stuff. And she's never done that for me. And it's just like, I get it. I didn't grow up with her, but I don't know. And then she's like, well, I just never wanted to feel like I was imposing. And I'm like, if you were imposing, I would tell you. Like, oh, well, that's why this never happened. And it's BS. And she's even admitted in a message that, yeah, her husband and her boys came before me. Because I get it. They were more needy than I was. I'm very independent. I've had to be independent. I haven't had a choice in that matter. And so the fact that it's just always a struggle to know whether or not she even cares is just really strange. Like my kids never question if I care about them. Like today I got my daughter a stroller for her baby shower. And the baby shower thing. But she called me as soon as she got it and put it together, and she was so excited. She wanted to show me every little part of the stroller. And like that's the kind of relationship I want with my mom. Where like when something good happens, I can reach out to her, we can talk about it. She can be excited for me. But we don't have that. We just don't. And so, yeah. And the baby shower. I invited her to the online baby shower. As of this moment, she has not sent a gift. Nobody on that side of my family has sent a gift. And that kind of hurts. Like my daughter has $5 things on there. You should be able to send something. Like I'm not trying to be a jerk, but your family. And in the meantime, my dad bought a $300 car seat. I have spent over $500 on my grandchild, which that's my job. I'm not saying anyone else should spend that much. My cousin, who hasn't seen her in a few years, bought her $100 worth of stuff. Like everybody on my dad's side of the family is buying my daughter all kinds of stuff. And my mom hasn't even invited any of her friends and been like, hey, my granddaughter's having a baby. Here's a link to her baby shower. I know other people invited my mom to their kids' baby showers or their grandchildren's baby showers. Why isn't my mom like, hey, look, my granddaughter's having a baby. Here's the baby shower invite. Join us. Like, why not? Like, I just get angry because I don't have the money to make sure my daughter has everything she wants and needs for that baby. I feel like I've done everything I can. I made sure she has an adapter thing that goes right into, for her breast pumps, to make sure it goes right into the storage bags, and the whole storage bag system that she really, really wanted. That was like $100. And the stroller she wanted is like a pram and it turns into a regular stroller. And that was a couple $100. And then I've bought like other little smaller stuff that she wanted or needed. I got $150 worth of reusable diapers. She does the mama koalas. Or she's going to do the mama koalas. We don't have a baby yet. It'll be a couple months, but trust me, y'all will know. And yeah, so needless to say, I mean, it's a lot. And I'm just like, I just wish that people would take a time to do something. Like, I don't know. I just wish my family gave a crap more than they do. Like my mom's family especially. But it's whatever. You can't force people to care about you. You can't force people to love you. And I've just had to accept the relationship I envisioned is never going to happen. So that kind of sucks. But what are you going to do, right? Anyhow, I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.